Welcome back to Goonies World. This is Meanie, also known as Ryan, and joined, as always, by Goonie, also known as Colin.
That is me. Hello.
And Mr. Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean.
Hey, hey, hey.
And last but not least, Lunicorn, also known as Lynn.
Good evening, or afternoon, or morning, or whatever time it is where you are.
And we're diving right back into the odd.
Yeah, that's right. This is our third installment of Into the Odd, and we are in the Moonstone House. So we have salvage rights to the Moonstone House here in the great sprawling industrial fantasy city of Bastion. And you have just defeated Tiptoe Moon, the little dust monster, the little girl who was transubstantiated into dust, and swept her out the window. And you had just realized as you were taking a short rest to regain your HP that the room was on fire. There was smoke coming out through the vents. And you'd remember when you had stopped the trap earlier, you had heard some crashing and clanging in the walls and led down to the basement and a whoomphing kind of explosion. And you're now theorizing that had, exploded a boiler in the basement or something, created a problem and started a fire. Luckily, this building's mostly made of stone. I mean, there's wood fixtures and things inside. But it's not like this whole thing's going to go up in flame. You got to jump out the window right this second. Your instincts tell you have time, probably, to at least make a very brief search of the rest of the place. You think you're about halfway through it. You would go slowly upwards throughout the house in search of the Arcana that Father Moon collected before he died, they say. And, of course, then he had left the property to his 3 daughters who got up to ill business, which we'll not recap. But here you are. You've completed your short rest, luckily, during the time that it's taken you to realize that there's smoke drifting up out of the vents. And it's got like a chemical taint to it. And it's rather nasty and greasy. And what do you do?
What were the options as far as doors and exits and stuff?
Well, there was a hallway that you came through here that had the trap in it, you'll recall. And you felt that you were in the outer turret. There was a turret on the side of the house, kind of stuck onto the side of it. And there's really only one way from here, and that's up. And there is a door behind by her canopy bed where the stairways continue circling up the tower. That's the only other way out that you know of, other than the way you came.
We don't want to go and try to put the fire out.
I don't know if that's really realistic. I mean, what do we have to douse a fire? That's got to be a great fire. Probably grease is involved, from that machinery. Could really be a blazer. I don't know if we can do anything about that. I say we just hurry. We go up and we find whatever we can and get out while we still can.
Well, I just wonder if the whole place burns down, if it's not going to burn up a bunch of valuables that we could have gotten. But I suppose you're right. It does seem like a rather nasty fire.
Yes, it's our luck. We've gotten this rights here, and then a large fire starts, and we might lose everything. But that's just how it is. I just want to press forward. I don't know about Nix. What are your feelings? We don't have time to get in depth to your feelings. I think we have to flee. But
we don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn.
That's right.
That's my thoughts.
The room is on fire.
That's right.
All right. I forgot you had those loud lungs.
Yeah, she's got those loud lungs.
Yes, I do.
All right.
I meant to call you Loud Lung Lynn in the intro.
That's right. You had such other lovely alliteration with your. Last but not least, Loud Lunged Lynn. Yeah. Anyway, can you consider Roach's suggestion that you go heroically douse the fire for a moment? But you realize, it's probably best to keep moving. So I'll assume that after your short rest, you ignore the smoke for now and push on through the upper stairway. And when you get to the top of that stairway, there's a little landing, and then there's 2 doors. There's 2 small rooms on this floor above. But there's a landing at the top of the stairs. Both the doors are closed. One is black, and the other one is blacker. There's wood on the doors. But there's a table out here in this common landing between the 2 doors. It's actually a vanity table with a mirror. You can all see yourselves in the freakish weird lantern light. And there's a clockwork fan here, like a little fan, desktop fan, in case you get too hot. And it's not going at the moment. You got to crank it up. And there's also a beautiful string of pearls here.
Well, do you like pearls?
Yeah, in fact, those pearls look like they could be worth about a guilder. So there's a price of entry. That's what you would have won in that bet in the first place.
Yes. Certainly we should take that. And so the fan, is that portable thing?
Yeah, it's like a little portable pickup. It's powered from clockworks. You don't have to plug it into anything.
Could be.
You never know. Someday you might get hot. You want the nice breeze on your face.
We could get hot very soon, actually, with this fire. So it might help us a little.
Now, that string of pearls was around the neck of a little wig dummy, just like a head and shoulders, for a wig dummy. And, wigs are a sign of status in Bastion. And it's a beautiful wig. It's got pink powder all over it. It's a white wig, but it's powdered pink. Oh. It's obviously for a lady, but anyone could wear it if they wanted to take one.
I have this floppy one that's too large.
You do.
So I'm going to just switch it out. Take the fancy one.
This next one is the Goldilocks wig because it fits just right. Your head was a little too small for a man's wig, but this one fits just fine. And, of course, it's much bigger. It's bouffant, it's tall. And as goes down on either side of your, down past your ears and, part's supposed to hang down your chest, Louis XIV style. But it's a shocking pink, and it's quite lovely. And then the pearls are great. And so like I say, there's no other stairway out of here. One would be forced to open one of the 2 doors, the black or blacker doors.
Are they the same size?
I was just going to ask this very same question.
Yeah.
Is one bigger and blacker, or is it just...
No, they're both big and black, but one of them just a little bit blacker.
Okay. Before we do the doors, I'm going to make sure that mirror is a normal mirror, or if there's something more to it. You never can tell.
All right, you go look in the mirror.
Well, I do look quite nice.
The wig looks lovely on you. It's a great color. It goes nicely with your complexion.
Did you have a different wig that you took off? I can't remember.
Yes, I did. You can have the old one. It's too.
Could I have it?
Yes, you can, but it didn't fit me. It probably won't fit you either. But whatever, do whatever.
Well, Roach. Roach, you try on the wig, and it's a little bit floppy. Because if you recall, the Baron who you got that wig from, he had an oddly shaped head. He had to go to a wigist, to get
wig maker, I think is
his wig maker. Yeah, and but to have his wigs made specially because he had kind of a oddly shaped football head. But as long as you don't mind as long as you don't mind a little bit of a floppy wig, you've got yourself a fine wig. You can have it adjusted at another date.
We'll have to have it hemmed.
Yeah, and this one's more of like a flatter wig. I don't picture it as big and bouffant. It's more like a British barrister style wig, close to the skull with the ponytail thingy in the back. It's an American founding father's wig.
And I no longer will be mistaken for a butler ever again with this wig. In fact, I should have butlers working for me. At least I will soon.
Well, you can always hire a lighter boy.
Yes.
Ooh, if you need a butler, just let me know.
Yeah, I will let you know. But I'm gonna just feel down this mirror and make sure it's not a secret portal into another realm.
Okay. Yeah, you take a good long look at the mirror. Why don't you go ahead and make a will save?
Uh-oh. Okay, what is my will?
And it's not necessarily an uh-oh, but we would use this stat to see if you could figure out whether something was something or whether something was nothing.
Well, I thought it was...
Or it could be that you look in it and you get sucked into the void.
Yeah. I failed.
Oh. Yeah, you're not certain about this mirror. Makes you uncomfortable. You felt suspicious and uh-oh-y as you approached it, and you decide you don't even want to know. You're not going to take the time and the effort to determine anything about this mirror because it freaks you out.
Yes, something about it I don't like. I think we should just focus on the doors then.
Well, in that case, I think we should go for the blacker one.
Okay.
All right.
No problems
Blacker.
with me.
Sounds good.
The blacker one it is. So you go and you try to open the door and you see that, this is indeed a locked door. You guys have lockpicks.
Yes, we do.
Normally, unless you're in a hurry, there's really no need to make you roll for stuff like this, right? Everybody knows eventually, so they're messed with it long enough, you can find a trap or disable a lock. So they're not really big on rolling for things in this game like that. Unless you're in a hurry or under pressure or anything like that. So why don't we see if we can get it open? I know you guys found some lockpicks earlier. How handy. You can now try to use them to unlock the door. And this will be a dexterity save.
No, I'm not very dexterous, so someone else can try.
Well, I'm not very smart, but I am rather dexterous. So I'll give it a shot. Fuck. Well, I needed 15 or less, and I got a 19. It's almost the worst thing I could have got.
That's almost the worst, but not quite the worst. But what is happening is you guys are wasting quite a bit of time. Nix can try it before you guys just give up and take your time on it.
Let's give it a try.
'Cause for every, little increment of time you spend, fire's spreading down below.
I got a 12, which is less than my dexterity.
Fine. These guys must have jiggled the tumblers a little bit, in their previous attempts, because that door opens, and inside it is just absolutely dark. I mean, there wasn't much... the only light in here anyway is your lantern, but there's not even any ambient light from the windows. You realize the windows have been draped over, with fire curtains, heavy black fire curtains. And there was furniture in here, but it's all been pushed to all the sides of the room, leaving the middle of the floor completely open. And you don't know what's behind all the hanging curtains. You assume the windows, but there could be other things behind them as well. And that is what you see when you open the door.
And there's nothing in the center of the floor that would suggest why these things were pushed to the
looks
sides?
like maybe it's just been cleared away for a nice little dance. No great gleaming pentagram or anything like that.
That's what I was expecting because I played Warhammer before, but...
Yeah. Well, at the very least, maybe we could cut some of these fire curtains and wrap ourselves in them in case we have to run through fire later on.
Ooh, I like that idea. It's a good idea.
Yes, that's very wise.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome idea. Even though I called them blackout curtains, not fire curtains, I still think it's an awesome idea. And,
I thought you specifically said fire curtains or something, but...
If I did, point is I love the idea, but I didn't specifically set them here to be fire curtains or blackout curtains.
Yeah, I didn't know what fire curtains were. I didn't know that was a thing, but thought maybe it was, insulated, curtains or something, for flames.
Hey, and that's why I like the idea. I think, it would be a little insulating, and so that could come in handy because we still don't know how the heck you're going to get out of here. But yeah, if you want to go in and explore them, be my guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk in the room and you yank down one of the curtains. You can see this great big narrow stained glass window behind it. You start pulling the curtains aside. It's beautiful stained glass all over the place. But then once you're in the room, and the shadows, I said, very, very deep in here. Now, you brought the lantern in, of course. But, yeah.
I'm just
I see
thinking.
Goonie making an O face.
Well, oh no, yeah. I just had an idea. I was going to wait and see, but I think perhaps when the light shines through these stained glass windows, maybe there's a pattern or something on that bare floor. I don't know.
Yeah, that's such an awesome idea. I wish I had thought of it. But as the ambient night light, it was a dark night in Bastion anyway.
Yeah,
because remember, it was grimy and misty. But there's certainly some weird patterns that would play across the floor. But in the shadows, as they coalesce, as you look for patterns on the floor, the shadows begin to coalesce into a girly form. And you hear another giggle. Only this one's a slightly throatier giggle. The last dusty, transubstantiated form of one of the moon girls, little Tiptoe, was just a little girl. This one seems older, like an adolescent girl form. And you realize it bears you no goodwill whatsoever. Players will generally go first. So as you see this happening, and since it's not the first time it's happened to you tonight, you guys, what do you do?
Another naughty sister, I believe. I will. I don't know if it'll work, but I will summon my frozen cloud, to envelop the shadow girl.
All right. Your little doom cloud appears, and it rushes forward as if to engulf her. But you can't freeze Shadow, can you?
No.
And just a patch of the floor becomes very slippery now beneath you with frost and whatnot, at least beneath her anyway. And how about you, Roach? You got anything up your sleeve as you see this horrific little shadow girl?
Well, I don't remember. How did we deal with the last with a broom? Was that what it was?
Yeah, you swept it with a broom.
I don't think a Roach has a broom, so I think what he's going to do is wave his tyrant's rod at it and tell it to disperse.
Okay.
Or fall down or whatever.
Okay. That means it has to make a will save. If it was susceptible to such things, which this particular thing it is. And its will, because this must be the second sister, Harvest Moon, who has a rather good will of 14. And she rolls an 8. So she will not disperse. But shadows do quiver for a moment. And Nix, what do you do?
I am going to make sure that the lantern is all the way open.
Yeah?
And I'm just going to approach her with the lantern, shining it at her, and see if she has any reaction to that.
Okay, well, with the iris all the way open where it's kind of lighting the whole room in all directions, she seems to back up a bit and retreat away from you as if she's causes her discomfort, but it doesn't seem to actually hurt her at all.
You've
at least not with the iris all the way
focus
open
the
like
light.
that. Yeah. Well, focusing the light will be a great thing to do on your next turn, but right now is her turn. And some of her shadow reaches out in this stabby motion right towards your face, Nix. And where is my damage die? And shadow envelops your head, and you take 3 points of damage. As you can feel the shadow leaking into your nostrils and nose and the pores of your skin.
Well, that's rather
and it's rather horrible
unpleasant
experience.
I don't like this.
Yeah, certainly is. And you can again hear a bit of a throaty giggle reverberating throughout the shadow in the room. And it's your turn again. And what are you doing, Percy?
I think since we can go in any order,
That's true.
I
Yes, you can.
would suggest Nix go first because she might be the only one that can do any damage to this thing.
What do you do?
So I am, in fact, going to now focus the beam so that it's
Okay, so
aiming
you adjust
right
the
at her.
iris. You adjust the iris on the lantern to it creates a narrow focus beam, more like a flashlight, and all the lights being channeled into this one beam, all the power of the light. And you shine it at her just like a flashlight, and that is an enhanced attack against her, which does D12 damage. So I don't know if you have a D12 sitting next to you, but if you do, now's the time to roll it.
Great. 5.
5. Oh, the thing quivers, and could a shadow become slightly less substantive, or is it just your imagination? But you definitely feel like you're hurting the thing. And yet, you don't think you've completely driven it away, and it will get a chance to do something. There may be nothing Roach or Percy can do, but if they want to do something, now's their time.
I'm gonna turn on that fan. And just, I don't know if I can do anything, but since it's sort of, not corporeal,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah, you wind up the fan and click, and it begins to whir. And you don't see that it has any visible effect, but it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Roach, you got to try your wand again? I know that's not the way you think it works, but you could always do that out of desperation or some other thing I might not have thought of before we move on.
Well, he is convinced this isn't going to do anything. But he's going to shoot it with his pistol anyway.
All right. You do shoot it with your pistol, and it doesn't do anything, but does rather satisfyingly blow out one of those nice stained glass windows on the other side of the room. Of course, they are just going to tear this whole place down anyway.
Or it's going to burn down.
Yeah, or it's going to burn down. That's absolutely right. And then they'll haul away the rubble. They're going to build a metropolitan tramway station here. But, no, you blow out stained glass window, and then she swells up like a brown dwarf and fills the room with shadow. And everybody make dexterity saves or be encompassed within the shadow. Otherwise, I'm picturing you rolling and dodging and trying not to be enveloped in it.
I succeeded.
As
Okay.
did I.
All right, that's good. You fail. This is a blast effect, so I would have had roll separately for you anyway, but I will only roll for Lynn. And Lynn, you take 4 more points of damage as the shadow enters your pores, and you become that little bit more shadowy yourself. You have permanent shadow within you. Will you be
Interesting.
transubstantiated as well? I hope not. So you should be fairly far down on the HP now.
Yes. I have none left.
I was going
Okay,
to say,
but
I think there was 2 and 4, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but have you lost any strength points? None yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay, next time you take damage, it'll come off strength, and then we'll have to check for critical damage. And that is what she does on her turn. Swells up and tries to attack all of you. Nyx, what do you do? Let's start with you.
I'm going to shine that light at her again. Shine a light.
Shine that ever-loving light on me. All right, and roll your enhanced damage die of D12.
4.
Hey, well, guess what? You needed 8. You had 5 last time, and now you've gone down into her strength, causing her critical damage. You'll have to save or be dissipated. Oh, God, that's a bad roll. She rolled a 17. And she is dissipated, and shadows melt back into their natural places, and they're only shadows where shadows should be. And aside from the distant roar of fire far down below you, and the breeze coming in through the broken stained glass window, the room is now silent. There's only one other item of interest in here. This is behind the last curtain. And it is behind one of the stained glass windows. There's a little door that opens up on a very small balcony, and there's a telescope here. It's pointed up at the sky. It's not huge. You could carry it.
Cool.
It'd be bulky, but you could carry it. And the bulk is actually a sign of awkwardness, too, not just weight. It's awkward to carry around a delicate telescope. It's aimed at the sky, but the sky's, of course, overcast right now. Do you want to look through it anyway? See if you can get a good look at the clouds.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Nix, you take a look in the telescope, and you realize, with a tingle, you can see actually through the clouds and deep, deep, deep into the night, further than you've ever been able to see on a clear night. For in the disk of the telescope, you see a nebula that you've never seen before. This glowing pinkish, purpley, it's a pinkish nebula shot through with veins of purple almost. It's quite lovely. There are 9 stars inside the nebula, and they seem arranged in a natural way, all equidistant from one another. It's quite unnatural, and there's something so deeply disturbing about the pinkish hue of this nebula and about the veiny strands of purple that run throughout it that you must make a will save instantly upon looking at it. Now, you had heard that the girls belonged to some astral cult of the existential fulcrum. Perhaps this is some sign of it.
I failed.
You failed the will save, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you will lose 2d6 will. It is mind-blasting, the implications of what you're seeing. Your mind can't even encompass it all. So how much will did you lose?
I lost 6.
Okay. Now, you don't have to, role players will be dumber or anything like that, because will isn't primarily intelligence anyway. Intelligence is kind of handled with the GM being generous with information about what you know. But it is your overall mental stat, so it's your willpower, it's everything. You are hurting inside. You, cry out and stumble away from the telescope. Gee, does anyone else want to take a look in the telescope?
I have no intention of looking through that.
Well, that looks like it hurt.
Yeah, it does. And obviously, though, because it can see right through those clouds, and probably much farther than a normal telescope, is obviously a bit of minor, at least, arcana here.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Why don't you hold on to that? Just don't look through it. I don't know if it's the telescope, maybe it's the lens, but we'll have to look at it later, I think.
Yes.
Examine
Did you say it was pink with purple veins?
I did.
Yes.
Well, sounds familiar. But I can't quite place it.
About 8,000 names for this nebula just popped into my head. About 8,000 names for this nebula just slid into me. All right. So Nix, I guess, takes the telescope, but doesn't. And anyway, moving on, I guess, out of this room, because there seems to be nothing else valuable in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to tear one of those curtains down.
Yeah, everybody want to grab a curtain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get cloaked up with a nice blackout curtain. All right. So you guys wrap yourselves up in those. You look like cultists or Dracula or something walking out of the room all wrapped in. And you walk past the little vanity table to the black door, not the blacker door. There's no stairs upwards out of that other room, so there must be out of this room. And this door is not locked. You don't have to take the time to mess with your little lock picks to get through. But in here you can see there's a 4-poster bed and a wardrobe and another dressmaker's dummy like the one you noticed down before. But by now the vents are really coming up. This room also, by the way, full of stained glass windows. None of them, seem to hinge open or anything like that. There's no other, it's not like another little balcony in this room that matches the one in the last room. Just the bed and the wardrobe, the dressmaker's dummy, and the smoke that's now really kind of billowing out of the little registers. And as it does billow, you almost expect it this time. The smoke begins to coalesce into the form of a shapely young woman, the oldest sister, the grown sister, Ruby Moon. And even though she carries a form now made of smoke, you can see 2 little distant embers glowing in her head that look like little eyes. And she gives a full woman's laugh and begins to expand her form as if to envelop you in smoke. But generally, you guys will go first, and you're not surprised by anything like that. So, who wants to go first? Kind of hard when there is no established order, right? No one wants to just like jump in, whatever. But it is you go in however you wish. And I see that Roaches.
Nyx has the best weapon against these things. Well, I met the lantern, but you could do that too.
Well, you blow as hard as you can with your loud lungs. But you know what? Loud lungs is an actual thing that you can end up with in the table for starting package. Ought to be worth something, right? It ought to be worth something, these loud lungs. And you are obviously on to the gist of it. So I think this should be a impaired attack, which is D4. As you, boy, I hope you brushed your teeth earlier today, or she's going to be in a world of trouble.
Oh, I only rolled a 1.
Well, you do, you know, you think you feel the shadow billowing back just a little bit. And, see, anybody else have a grand idea?
Yeah. That reminds me, I've got this fan. Now you stand back, Smoke. And I'm gonna, wind it up and blow it at her.
Okay. Well, you do that, and go ahead and roll an enhanced attack at D12. But you realize, even as this is happening, even as you realize it's successful and it's hurting her, there's nowhere for her to go. You know, she's kind of drifting out the door just a little bit, but you guys are in the way of the door. There's nowhere for the smoke to dissipate. But go ahead and roll that damage.
4.
Okay. Well, you've done 5 HP already of damage to the...
We could blow her into the other room and out the window that was broken with the pistol.
Well, we could break these windows in here.
Oh, we could do that too.
All right. Well, it's Roach's turn. What do you want to do, Roach?
Well, seeing these blowing type attacks are seeming to have at least some effect, he's going to take his curtain cloak and unwrap himself from it and wave it like like he's trying to send smoke signals. Or
No, I think that's great. I think it's worth an impaired attack for sure. Yeah.
I don't think I have a D4.
A D4, and if you don't have a D4, I can roll a D4 for you.
Could you?
I don't think you had. You had a D12. You had to roll your last time you rolled a D12 and divided it by 3. But I'll go ahead and roll. And hey, that's actually not bad. You got a 2, and
no, better than 0.
Yeah, and you did 7 HP of damage to the Smoke Girl. But it's her turn. She was trying to swell up earlier, and as she swells up, it's very hard not to breathe in some of the smoke. It gets in your eyes, and it's burning and itchy. Make dexterity saves, all of you, to avoid taking terrible damage. And really, we're very worried about Nyx, so we hope she makes it.
Nyx rolled a 1.
Oh, great.
Success.
And I failed this time.
Oh, no. Well, you will take 2 points of damage. Okay. How about Roach?
Roach rolled an 8, so he is good to go.
He is good to go. And... yeah, you've done a significant amount of damage to. You can just tell the smoke is harder for it to coalesce. Instead of being in big, terrible clouds, it's like stranding across the room. But it looks like it just has no outlet. What do you guys want to do? Percy, you sound like you might have been onto something a little earlier.
Yes, I'm going to shoot the window.
All right.
And I
Why
don't know if
And you don't have to roll.
Okay.
You can just shoot it right out. Yeah. Although I was kind of hoping you'd throw the brick through it. But that would
I thought about
nice.
that, but I wanted to save that.
Save the brick.
Yeah.
You know, a bag with a brick in it should really count as a weapon. And, you know, it's at least a...
Should. Like
It's
a
at least
club
an
or
improvised...
something.
At least a crude weapon in terms of this game. But, all right, so you do that. And once you do that, then the smoke starts, like, drifting out the window. And you could just let it go. Or you guys could...
Yeah, I'm going to just keep blowing that fan, pointing at
Okay.
her towards the window. Let
Okay.
her blow out.
Okay, all right. And if you want to blow again with your lungs, you can do one more point of damage. And if Roach wants to wave at it again, wow, he does 4 points of damage. Just went in and narrated that out and role-played it for you. And she only had 2 left. And as she is leaving the room and being blown about, that is the wrong dice. She has to make a critical save here. And she rolls a 15, failing it. And is now dissipated and completely. And she's now transubstantiated in another way. As are all the poor, ill-fated Moon sisters. And there is no pearls in here, unfortunately, or no other obvious treasure, but there is a doorway that goes up. And from the smoke that's not her, that now comes billowing out of the registers, you realize, the lower story, the fire certainly reached the first floor by now, You can even see it kind of glowing in the... you remember there's like an old hedge maze outside, only it was all dead. You could see right through it. But you can see the glowing on the hedge maze from the fire or the bottom story is kind of creating a radius of light out into the surrounding estate now. And still no major arcana, although you've already... Hey, you got out here right now with just a telescope and the pearls. That's something. But you don't know what arcana sells for, but you have a feeling it's a lot. And...
Yes.
So you could try to escape now, but you feel like you might just have another 10 or 15 minutes. You might be able to check out what's upstairs. You think there's probably only one more room. The stairs are obviously going back in towards the tower itself, not the little side turret, but the top of the upper floor, and the uppermost story of Moonstone House. Do you want to go up the stairs?
I think we should risk it all and
Yes.
see what we can find.
Agree.
Well, if we don't, if we leave now, it won't be nearly as I feel like we will have missed something.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll just go for it.
All right, you go for it. So go for it means something. You're going to charge up those stairs, and you do. And in your haste, maybe you're not as careful as you should be, but you get about halfway up the stairs, and everybody make yet another annoying dexterity save. This time as a section of the stairway just unhinges and opens out underneath your feet. And if you failed, give me a big thumbs down. But nobody did? Oh, that's wonderful. You guys at the very last second. And it's a tenet of this system almost that you should always have that last second dex save, right? Also, that you'll pretty much find any traps as long as you're going carefully, slowly, checking, and yada yada. So, but you're all like, spread your legs at the last minute. You can picture yourself running up some stairs, like about a 4-stair section, right? When the first person steps in on the first stair, the whole thing just hinges backwards and swings down. Now, you could jump over it. It's no problem. You don't have to make a roll. But you can see this. This is a chute that went all the way down to the basement. And you can see that somebody would have landed, in a cage in the basement, because you can see the silhouettes of the cage they would have landed, but is now completely engulfed in flames. You're like looking down into a pit of flames, or you can see the cage. It's like, Om Nom Shiva, Om Nom Shiva.
Yeah.
But normally this just would have been a fall down into a cage and break your legs trap. Now it would have become a fall down and break your legs and burn to death trap, which luckily no one fell. So that's good. And you can keep on moving up the stairs.
Close one.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it was.
All right. And at the top of the stairs, there's an elaborate and ornate door with a lock set into the shape of a crescent moon. Remember, this was like the family crest. It was on their gates outside. It was emblazoned above their fireplace. This must be, the room of Father and Mother Moon. Now, Father Moon had died long before the girls joined the cult, and the mom had died too. But this must be the parents' room, and it is absolutely locked.
I will then quickly attempt to pick it because we are in quite a hurry at this point.
That's right, you
And
really are.
really don't have a good way back down that I can see. So we may be jumping out the damn window.
Yeah, and there is a moat down there if you recall, but it was only 4 feet deep, but that might be better than nothing, right? So,
Well, it might be. I guess we'll find out because I rolled a 7 on my dex.
hey, that's great. That's great. So, you open the door all right, but you're working in a hurry, like we said, and in one of the craters of the little crescent moon, a dart shoots out of it. You get the door open, but thunk! Ooh! This dart hits you square in the chest, Roach, and you're going to actually lose no HP, but you actually lose 4 points of dexterity as a numbness spreads through your limbs. Now, obviously, these aren't permanent. If you'll recall, a long rest will restore your ability to score losses, whether will or strength or dexterity or not. But there's a sluggishness that goes through your limbs. You're not quite as dexterous. The rest of this adventure, you'll be hurting a bit on dexterity. But you did get the door open quickly, and it is now the point where it's now the time where you're right. Time does matter because the fire has gone up into the first floor, and you'll recall a lot of wooden fixturings down there, plaster on the walls, and heavy wooden beams down in that big main room where you fought the salvage jacks, and a lot of furniture. This place might be starting to go up more quickly. But you get the door open. And inside, it's quite clear this perhaps was once a bedroom. But there's a bed that's been like completely disassembled. It's just the mattress on the floor, but there's parts of the bed lying everywhere. And beyond that, and there are some little personal items, knickknacks, end tables, But the dominant feature in the room is a whole bunch of shelves lining the opposite corner of the wall. And on every one of those shelves is nothing. They are empty. And it's quite frustrating because it seems like nothing so much as a place to display one's beautiful collection of Arcana. But as I said, the bed had been disassembled and was just laying on the mattress. One big point that I probably should have mentioned even before the empty shelves. There's a great big silver egg lying in the bed. It's like a hinged egg. It's almost like a little jewelry egg, but it's big, it's the size of a person. It's like a coffin-sized egg. It seems to be like maybe what smashed the bed. And that thing is immense. There's no way you're carrying that out of here. It won't even fit down the stairs, And you have no idea what it is.
Very odd. Perhaps we should, one of us should sit on it and hatch it, see what's in it.
Well, it's got a hinge, don't it? Can't we just open it up?
Oh, yes, I guess you could just... I just thought it'd be fun to pretend like we're hatching an egg, but we don't really have time for fun hijinks, so I guess let's move this hinge here.
Okay, well, so you want to open the egg. You do. And when you do, there's like some hissing steam that comes out of it. We're like, and you hear, what's all that then? You hear from inside the egg. And when you open it, you look inside, and it's almost like this dimensional doorway because you're expecting this tiny little egg, but it's actually a whole room in there when you look in. It's like a comfortable study. There's a fireplace that's going, and some bookshelves on the walls, and a little gramophone that could play music. And sitting in a chair by the fire with a mischievous, somewhat diminutive but not fully short guy with a roundish nose and a mischievous grin on his face, and black hair cut in an almost mod style. And as he looks up, he grabs a wig that's sitting there, puts it over his head, and goes, "Blimey, who are you then?"
Excuse me.
Excuse me?
Well, no, excuse me. What are you doing in an egg?
Well, it's a resurrection egg, isn't it?
Is it? I've never heard of such a thing.
I'm sure there's lots you've never heard of.
Well, that's probably true.
Well, whatever you do, don't come in here, because you'll never be able to leave, and I'm not spending eternity with you. I'm Ezekiel Moon. Haven't you heard of me?
Well, I've heard of the Moon family. I mean, this is their... We are standing in their former residence.
Yes. I imagine it's slated for destruction. New tramway station or some such nonsense.
Indeed.
Yes, correct.
And I imagine you're filthy looters, right?
Incorrect.
We have a writ. We are proper looters.
Well, you won't get my collection of Arcana. I've arranged for that. Of course, I thought I had arranged for eternal life. My oldest daughter, very resourceful, that one, helped me procure this resurrection egg. The joke's on me, though. You can't ever leave it. So, I don't want to die the final death, so I'll be staying right here, and you can go about your merry way. Well, no matter what they do to this egg, they can tear down the place around, as far as I'm concerned. But you won't find any of my Arcana. I've had it all moved away to a very safe location where you'll never find it. That will be my collection for eternity.
What good does it do you if you're trapped in this egg? Why would you not want to share?
Share? One does not amass a collection at great expense to share it. I was not even willing to share it with my daughters and see them fight over it. Certainly did not want to share it with my stupid wife. That's why I had to poison her, give her the wasting sickness.
Oh, you horrible man, you.
Or, how about this? If you don't tell us where it is, we're all coming in the egg and spending eternity with you.
No. There's not nearly enough. You wouldn't like my music. There's not enough places to sleep. It's just, that won't work. Thank you. You may close the gate now. I won't be talking. Don't come in. You'd hate it. Don't just doom yourself for eternity just to spite me.
Well,
my collection is quite safe.
We might have to because your house is on fire, and we don't really have an escape route, so we might have to climb in there to avoid it. If worse comes to worse, but...
Really on fire, you say? Well, that's the way I like to see it go that way. Better a good fire than the wrecking ball, what? Ah! Anyway, I suppose I don't need you in here for eternity. And, well, it doesn't matter. I don't... From one look at you peering down with your stupid faces makes me realize you'll never find the treasure anyway. You can tell you exactly where it is, and you'd never survive the expedition to get there. I had all my treasure shipped to Hope's End. It's beyond the Coral Sea. There's no one there but wretched folk and convicts, but I did inherit through my wife's family an estate there, and all of my artifacts have been moved there, where they're watched after by my very faithful servants. I very much doubt the likes of you can afford an expedition beyond the Coral Sea, and I very much doubt that you could ever survive the cleverly laid places where the artifacts are kept. So you can just shut that door now. There, be good fellows.
Yeah, well...
I hope your egg burns.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what happens when the egg burns up in the fire?
Not even a dragon's fire could harm this egg.
Well, so you're just going to stay there for the rest of your eternity, and egg, well, suit yourself. I mean, are you sure we couldn't just reach in and pull you out?
Don't do that! No, don't do it! I don't you dare! Don't you do it! He goes over and grabs a fireplace poker. He's shaking it up at you.
Well, okay. I'm not going to force you out.
That's right, you're not. Alright, and by now the house is the room is definitely filling with smoke, and it's getting pretty bad. Now he looks at you smugly. That's what I thought. Now go on with you. You'll never get my artifacts, and I shall be smugly here for eternity contemplating your incompetence.
Is there, perchance, like a secret passageway from up here to, outside, like...
Well, why don't you go out and jump up and down on the stairs about halfway up? You might find something.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. We found that.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I was hoping for, like, some kind of, separate stairwell that is, not engulfed in flame that we might take
Do I look
down.
like a man who puts on a seminar for every sewer jack or every salvage jack who runs into a building without a good plan for getting out after foolishly setting it on fire, I might add?
Oh, we didn't set it on fire. Your little trap thing did when we stopped it.
Oh, well, then you didn't stop it the right way, did you? You're all so stupid. I can't believe I might as well just give you the key to the room over there. And I'm really trying to get this guy. I'm really trying to make him piss you off. I know. Just close the egg there, dum-dum, and go about your business. Save yourselves. Leave me to my smug eternity. And he thumbs his nose at you. And you realize he does look exactly like Keith Moon.
Well, Roach is going to attempt to lift the egg. Is that possible?
What are you doing? Stop it! Wait! Now, it's heavy, but you can make a strength save to lift it up. Even if you fail, you can, knock it off the, its little purge.
At my reduced strength, that would be a 12, and I rolled a 14, so not...
Oh, no. Well, you knock it off, though, and it rolls off the bed, and he's like, oh, I'm sideways now, you idiot! Oh! Now I'm spinning.
Kick it down the stairs and make it go in the basement.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Well, I did
we
say
help
it
with
would be
that?
hard to get out of this place, but I also said there was a very, very big door, right? So it's probably not until the lower levels. And so you push it over with your feet. What are you doing? And you can hear his, gramophone falling and the stuff inside his little pocket dimension, which obviously shares the same gravity as the rest of the world, tumbling over. No, I would have it. I apologize. You're not stupid. I was wrong. I know. And it tumbles down the stairs and goes straight down into the hole. You can hear, ah! And a great flame comes up. And you can hear screaming in agony because he's falling out of the egg down there and he's burning up.
Oh, shit. I didn't think he could get out.
He's falling out of it because it fell down and shattered and broke, And,
Whoops.
yeah. And so, he deserved it. He was a bad egg. Huh.
Yeah,
He
see,
was a bad egg.
he poisoned or killed his wife. He was a horrible man.
It's true.
Yeah.
Shouldn't lose any sleep over his death.
Well, I'm not sad about that. I just didn't expect it is all. I thought he was stuck in there forever and the egg could survive any fire. I didn't think he'd fall out and burn up. But it's kind of funny
He
that he
did
did.
say that the egg was indestructible, so...
Well, it said it can survive a dragon's fire, but I figure,
he didn't close
6 or 8 story fall, it's smashing onto a
He
floor.
didn't close
I
the
think
door. He fell out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a weak spot on the hinge, it cracked it open that way, But he died the death he deserves. At least he won't be smugly thinking about how stupid you are throughout all eternity. However, you might be thinking about how stupid you are throughout all eternity because you realize now that you're at the top of a flaming tower. And up here there are little balcony rooms. You go look out and you look down and, not that far below you, flame is licking out through the stained glass windows of all shattered. And you can still, even though it's nighttime, you remember there was a crowd that was gathering at the gate of the estate. It's a big yard, but you'll recall it used to be a country manor long before the city encroached around it over the centuries. And you can see the crowd's all anxiously watching the place, and it's gotten rather big. The radish cellar you first spoke to is out there.
Where's the fire brigade?
Yeah, they would laugh if you the burgers have not have never voted enough funding for the fire brigade, and even then they're pulling, they're going to be pulling a fire engine from quite a ways away. So they're certainly not going to be here to help you in time.
Is there a window from this room?
Well, there's there's like a balcony room where you look out where you're seeing all this.
Are there bed sheets? Do we see bed sheets on that bed?
We have rope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have rope too.
And you've got rope and you've got curtains and.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we're going over the side.
But I will say this, you don't have nearly enough rope to let all the way down to the bottom. And even then, you'd be crawling against the flame, right? So you're climbing against the flame. Yeah. I didn't have a good plan for you guys to get out here, although I just thought of one that would be kind of cute. But like I say, you got a lot of bed sheets, you got some great big heavy curtains, you've got some rope, and you got about 5 minutes.
Yes. Well... I'm gonna start pulling the bed sheets off and tying them together. Nix, do you have an idea?
I have an idea. What if we join enough pieces of cloth to make a great big parachute and then use the fan to fill it with air and slow our fall?
Well,
that was like kind of the idea I just had. Yeah, I didn't think of it earlier, but yeah.
I don't have a better idea. I mean, we could slow
I don't
our
know if
fall.
it would work in real life, but it would certainly work in a cartoon. Damn it.
Well, you guys don't have long, so if you're going to do it, you better get to it. As everybody's
Let's do
struggling
it.
quickly, begins tying off curtains and blankets and
it's
everything
obviously
else.
not going to
Fan
gently
out.
set
Luckily,
us
there's a lot
on the.
of hot
But
air
if we
in
can
the room.
just slow our fall, so we're not like crushed to a pulp. Maybe just a couple of broken bones or something.
Just slow it enough from terminal velocity, right?
All right.
And maybe try to aim ourselves into the moat. At least help a tiny bit more if we can land in the moat.
You guys you don't have time to work carefully, so you do your very best very quickly. You realize you've got minutes here, not hours. And you get the thing together, you get out onto the balcony, you kind of hoist up in the air like you're playing a parachute in gym class, so it mushrooms up above you and you can turn on the little fan. Bing! And it begins, you hope it's filling it, and you grab the edges, and I guess you're just going to have to make a leap of faith here. And everybody make dexterity tests, even if your dexterity's been modified on the way out. 2 of you need to make it to avert disaster.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, no.
I rolled a 5, baby.
No.
Oh, no. Well, you guys go jumping up, and it does not quite balloon up the way you wanted it to. It's really going nicely on Nix's end.
If I can do something as I'm falling,
What do you do?
I'm going to move my my frozen cloud over us. I don't know. That won't slow us, but we will. Yeah, that probably won't help. But at least we won't catch any flames or anything on the way down. If we were, close to.
Well, that's probably true. Well, now you're all covered with frost. Roach, however, has slipped off. He rolled the worst thing he could roll with a 20. He slips off and he falls to the ground. Oh! And he's going to take 2d6 damage. But I rolled pretty low. Well, I rolled low with the first dice. You take 7 points of damage upon landing. And that's in the moat. You go all the way through the 4 feet of water and smack into the... and so, does that take away any of your strength points? Do we need
Yes,
to?
it does.
All right. And so you were already missing low strength, so we're going to roll for critical damage.
So we can roll under my current modified.
Lower strength.
Yeah, I succeeded with a 5.
Hey, that's great. That's great. So you do the classic, splash back up out of the moat, drag yourself back up. Meanwhile, though, because Percy didn't get a good grip on it, the whole thing just spins out and spins and spins and spins in circles, and it never does balloon up quite nicely the way you want it to. And when you land, you each take D4 damage. And I think with Lynn, that will be taken off her strength.
It will be taken off my strength.
And you
So
must
then
now
I
make a
roll my new
strength test at the new strength to avoid taking critical damage. Oh, no!
Yeah.
She's hurt. She's hurt bad, but luckily your friends and allies can get to you within an hour. If you laid there with an hour unattended to, you would die. But your friends, even though you land badly, and you've got the telescope, which is got to be worth a few guilders at least, and you've got the jewels, the pearls, and even better, you know where the vast collection of Arcana is. But it is in Hope's End, which is across the Coral Sea. So as you trudge out to the great applause of the people who are accumulated in the street. You now, of course, have far more than you need to pay off your rent in advance, and you even have enough to perhaps realistically mount an expedition to Hope's End to find the artifact collection of Father Moon. But that, we'll have to wait till next time. You guys, however, have survived an expedition with something to show for it. You have now reached the professional level. You are no longer novices. So in between sessions, we will level you up. And we will continue our adventures. However, Halloween is coming. And as our longtime listeners know, we always do a Halloween special. And so next time, we will be doing our Halloween special. And then we will return to the world of Into the Odd and see how our adventurers do with their much greater quest that lies before them. So that's it.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.